It's all the above, best believe we do it better. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. What up?
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Angel Marie from All the Above Podcast, and I am joined here today by actress Liv Simone. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Angel.
Yes, thank you for joining me today. How have you been? What have you been up to?
Man, I've been up to a lot. Actually, today, well, between yesterday and today, it's like my first day off in a while. I just closed a stage production on Sunday. So I have been ripping and running for the last 2 months with that. So we're finally done. So I got a little time now. So
Hey, busy, busy. Well, thank you for making time for me and all the above today.
yeah,
So are you ready to get into this interview?
yeah, let's do it.
All right. So what inspired you to pursue a career as an actress, and how did you get your start in Hollywood?
Okay, so growing up, I was like kind of just into everything. I did dance, gymnastics, theater, playwriting, like literally everything. My mom was like super open to me just trying things, you know? She's one of those people that's like, I'm not going to try to like pre-plan what my child is. She doesn't have to be a scientist because that's what I am. My mom was a scientist,
Ooh,
totally opposite of like what I do, right?
okay.
I guess there's some correlation, but yeah, so she kind of just let me do my thing, and she noticed like early that performing and being on stage kind of stuck with me. Her brother, so my uncle, is an actor. So I grew up watching him a lot on TV and movies, on Broadway. Like one of my first Broadway shows when I was like tiny was going to see my uncle in like original Broadway cast of an August Wilson play. So it was kind of just like I was just always kind of around it, you know what I mean? And so yeah, so I guess just having my mom encouraging me, as well as my uncle, and just my like natural love that I felt for it, all three of those things kind of like gave me the motivation to want to like push forward in this thing. So
Hey, that is
I
beautiful.
am.
Who is
Yeah.
your uncle, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, his name is Monte Russell.
Hey, okay. Well,
Mhm.
that means in honor of your mom, one of your next roles should be a scientist. It's
I
like
would
you
love to
lived on
do
her dream in
that.
a way.
Yeah, that would be a stretch. Like, listen, if somebody has the script ready, send it to me. Let's see.
Now, who would you say are some actors and actresses who have inspired your work today?
I would say Viola Davis,
Ooh.
definitely. Angela Bassett. She's probably my like the one I look up to the most.
Mhm.
Um, and honestly, these days, my friends, like I can't turn on the TV without like seeing people I know now. So it's kind of like surreal and really cool to be able to say like, wow, I'm inspired by Lauren Banks, who like went to Howard and is now just like taking over. You know what I mean? Or Burgundy Baker, who's like one of my sisters, who's on The Shy. She's been on The Shy every season. You know what I mean? So that's like the cool part of where I am now,
It's like a
having
full circle
here.
moment, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool feeling.
Yes, and speaking of full circle moments, you are currently a part of the Power franchise, which is a huge series right now, and you play the role of Aisha in Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. So,
Yeah.
how would you describe your character Aisha and her significance in the series?
Yeah. So Aisha I feel like she's a breath of fresh air, especially for Jukebox, considering, well, y'all have seen now. I think we're at a point where you guys are starting to kind of see the beginning of the fray of Jukebox's life. You know what I mean? But I think Aisha's purpose, this season, especially, was to kind of open Jukebox's eyes, and to help her realize that she is a good person. She is of value. Like, enough people don't check in on Jukebox. She's always there for everybody else, but there's not really a lot of people who are checking in on her and making sure she's good. So I think Jukebox having Aisha in her corner for the first time, like since Nicole, pretty much, um, was something that helped her just on her journey to unfortunately what she ends up being, but like we're not there yet, you know. Yeah, she was just there to help her, and I think in that same regard, Jukebox also helped Aisha, you know, just with like her confidence and learning the steps, you know what I mean? They were really there for each other in a way that I don't think Jukebox has gotten to experience in a while. So
And I love that you guys in your girl group, you guys gave me strong TLC vibes with some
that
flavor.
was the goal.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you guys balanced each other out so well. Like all of your characters, the way you all developed them. And speaking of that, with your character development, how did you prepare to portray the role of Aisha and build that character development for her?
So essentially in the audition, it all really came down to initially, obviously doing the scenes. I had like, I think either 2 or 3 scenes, that were like from early on. Um, but the dancing and singing was also a very important part of the audition. And lucky for me, I had left the show on Broadway to do Raising Kanan. So I had already kind of like been in that mode of like we're dancing and we're singing and you know, because that takes a lot of effort to, you know what I mean? It's not easy if you're not dancing every day or you're not singing every day to just like pop in and drop in on that. So it kind of worked out for me that I was already in that mode. You know what I mean? And then the rest was kind of just like, I mean, we have brilliant writers on the show. So, you know, just kind of doing the actors part where it's like, okay, what is the story that they're trying to tell? How do I see it? And how can we like bring it together so that it makes sense for me to do it, but also like honoring their words and what they're trying to craft.
Yes. And adding on to that question, Power Book Theories in Canaan is based in the 1990s. So, how did you immerse yourself in that time period to bring authenticity to your performance?
Oh my gosh. I be doing the most. I remember when I first got the offer for the role, like that night I went on and I was like, okay, I got on YouTube and I was like, I have to like immerse myself in this like 90s. Because at the time I didn't have a script. I didn't know what we were going to be doing. All I knew was that I was going to be in this group. And so I wanted to like familiarize myself with like what was going on in that time period. And I remember watching this Tribe Called Quest documentary and I was like obsessed with it because there's a line in like my second episode, like when Juke and I are first talking, where I start name dropping all these groups that I liked. And I was kind of like, I need to know about these groups. You know, not that I knew about Tribe Called Quest, but then there were like Jungle Brothers and De La Soul, like all those I didn't know. So I kind of like went off of that to kind of say, oh, okay, like these are the things Aisha likes. Let me like open my eyes and kind of discover, and that will, you know, help give me like a jumping point on where I can,
Did your homework.
you know, we scholarly or whatever. Yeah.
And would you say during the filming of the third season, were there any challenges or memorable moments that you experienced during that time?
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm like just getting over a little bit of a cold. Um, Challenges, I will say, it was difficult to be a professional dancer and not do well. That was probably like no, that was like a thing. Like it took some time, but our choreographer was brilliant and she was kind of like, well, instead of making her like a bad dancer, how about we have it so that she just like has no spatial awareness and she's just kind of like all over people. And that's why you see me like bumping into people and like
Girl, you were
things.
stressing me out.
I was stressed out myself. But you know what? It's funny. I was just in LA like 2 days ago and I was with one of my cousins and he's such a ride or die. He was like, man, they was messing you up. She bumped into you. And I was like, see, I know, right? But yeah, so that was a challenge. And also just like, just making sure that the three of us balanced each other out all of the time because it wasn't just like a one woman show, especially when it came to like the performances and stuff. It wasn't specifically about any one person, of course, until like the end, once Juke became the leader.
Mhm.
So just kind of like being there to support each other, behind the scenes while we were trying to just craft the story and bring some like cool dynamics to the performances that we gave y'all. So
It's
yeah.
funny that you say one of the challenges is to unlearn to be a good dancer. Like usually you don't hear people say the reverse. So when you think about it, it's like that actually takes skill as well to look like a bad dancer. It's like you gotta, because it's ingrained in you, you're trained to do it.
Yeah, and then you don't want it to look fake and bad, you know what I mean? So you want it to look as authentic as possible. So,
Exactly. And you have a lot of scenes, obviously, where you are connected with Jukebox.
mhm.
How would you describe establishing and building that connection with your castmates, even Kanan and a few other characters that you're seeing on screen with quite often? How was it trying to build that connection and relationship with them all?
Well, to be honest, it was kind of easy because we actually became really good friends outside of set. So we actually got to spend a lot of time together. So like those moments that you see between us weren't us putting on or us like being actors. Like we genuinely have love for each other. You know what I mean? And we genuinely like know each other very well. So, and I mean at the time we were getting to know each other, so it kind of like aligned perfectly um with us telling the story. Uh yeah, it just kind of worked out that our personalities meshed well together.
Hey,
And
that's perfect.
the rest was just God. It was just meant to be, I guess.
It's all in the universe.
Yeah, but we did have some discussions like when, there would be a moment in the script where we were unsure about, especially when we were first starting to like put together that there was like potential relationship or potential something
Mhm.
there. You know what I mean? Then there were times where we had to come together and think like, okay, how can we tell this in an authentic way? And I think it's really important, like having that representation, especially during that era, was just like a totally different time. So Haley and I wanted to make sure that we really did it justice. And yeah, and we're truthful and honest as we could be. But we don't always know what the story is gonna do ahead of time. You kind of sometimes just get the script and it's like, oh, okay, so this is where we're going. So then that's when it's helpful that we did have that rapport in real life where it's like we can easily come together and say, okay, so what are we gonna do here?
Exactly. It's like a whole art. Now, do you guys also do chemistry tests? I know some auditions with films or TV shows, they have certain actors and actresses do chemistry tests with each other to see how well they balance each other out and connect. Do you guys also do that? Or is it not the same since they're like 3 seasons in now?
Yeah, no, we didn't do that. I do know that Haley watched our auditions and I know that she had some sort of a say so.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know how much, but I know that she did watch and was kind of like, yeah, I like her, or there's something about her that works. So
Also, that helps. That's good.
yeah, she wasn't going into it blind. And I think that was really important for her because again, because she's the lead and because like at the end of the day, we are supporting her story.
Mhm.
Um, I'm glad that she got to have a hand in choosing us.
Right. And look at y'all now. And the Power franchise, it has a dedicated fan base. So, how do you navigate the expectations and the pressures that come with being part of such a popular series? Did you feel any type of pressure on yourself that you're now engulfing yourself into the series that already has been known to people and loved? Do you feel like you have a certain job to do or perform to keep it up to that standard on your end?
Well, yeah, definitely. I got into the Power universe very late. Like I know it came out like what, 2010, 20, I don't know, 2012, something like it was a while
Long
ago.
time ago.
Yeah, and for some reason, I think I was just like, I'm not watching it. I refuse to watch it. And I think it was just one of those things where it just felt like everybody was doing it. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna do it. So I didn't watch it until like the spring of 2022. I cracked and was immediately hooked on it. Immediately. I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. And so then later, like just like maybe 3 or 4 months later is when the audition for Raising Kanan came out, or came up. But having knowing already like what that was, and like having that initial thought of everyone loves this, you know what I mean? And along with like so many of my friends and family and just like everyone in general, it just seems like it's just like the show of the century. Like everyone loves it. So it did feel kind of like I have to really do well, not only because of the magnitude of this show, but also because all of my homies are watching this and I can't let them down. Like that was a big part of it for me. You know what I mean? Um, and then yeah, just like the pressure of like it being my first like big thing on TV. And yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But I
No
was
pressure.
right, but I was excited, and it was the perfect situation, the perfect role. It felt natural to me, so that
Yeah.
kind of like took some of the edge off, I guess. And now I like it's given me a confidence that I didn't even expect to have now, like walking onto a set. It's great.
That's right. Now that
Mhm.
actually goes right into my next question, because you said that this is like your first big role on screen as well, where it's more known. Have you learned or developed anything new about yourself since filming Power Book 3 Raising Kanan?
Um, yeah, well, kind of like what I just said just now, like I definitely feel a difference. I mean, I've always had confidence for sure, but
It's
I
like an
just
extra layer.
yeah, it's just like a certainty. It's like I was on set last week for another project and I just felt such ease, even with so many eyes on me and it being just like my thing. I was like, oh, I got this. And I fully credit Kanan and being a part of the series for the like, essentially the entire season, and going into the next season and all of that with that kind of boost of confidence, I guess. And it feels really nice because that's what you need in this industry. If you can be confident, or you can go in there, even if you're pretending to be confident, you can just like have the guise of confidence, like that's it right there for
That's
the
the art of
most part.
finesse.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, as an actress in all of the projects you have done so far, what would you say is a role or a project that challenged you the most as an actress or pushed you outside of your comfort zone?
Hmm. Dang, that's a good question.
Got to think in the vault for that one.
Yeah. Honestly, I think if we're talking about like the most challenging thing that I've done, and honestly, it was a while ago, so I would love to even revisit it now where I am and with all the growth that I've had. But it was probably my senior year of college. We did a Tennessee Williams play called Not About Nightingales, which is a very deep, dark, based on a true story, kind of tragic play. And I was the lead of the play. And I mean, Tennessee Williams is already just an elite playwright, and his body of work is just incredible. But that was difficult. And I would love to like revisit that at some point, or just have the opportunity to play a role like in that caliber again at some point.
Now,
Yeah.
that's a good one. An extension to that is kind of almost the same question, but a little reverse. I want to know, are there any dream roles or projects or even genres that you haven't explored yet, but would love to in the future?
Yeah. I'm really attracted to like the dark side of things, which is so funny because you probably wouldn't even think that about me, but I would love to do some horror, some like thriller, some like dark psychological, weird, twisted kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like on my like bucket list of people to collaborate with, high on the list, Jordan Peele.
Ooh,
Absolutely. Anything that he does, I'm like,
he's
yeah,
a genius in that
I want to
genre.
be in
A
this. I want to,
powerhouse.
yeah. So that's kind of like the lane I would love to see myself in at some point.
Hey, well, just know you guys heard it here first when y'all see her in that horror flick. She
Yeah.
manifested it. First one
Correct.
to die, you know they try to kill off the black people first.
Exactly. Exactly. But Jordan don't be doing that. You know what I mean? He lets us live. He's a real one for that.
Now, I need to know, you obviously, your career has skyrocketed. I'm sure you have a lot of busy projects. You even said in the very beginning of this interview that you finally had some downtime. How do you balance your personal life with the busy demands of an acting career?
You just have to find the moments. Like you really do. To take care of your body, to listen to your body when it's telling you, hey, I don't have it. You have to just say, like, I don't have it today. You know what I mean? Journaling.
Yep.
I love a good massage, you know, reading, things like that. Just like, and also just understanding that it's okay to not do something. Like I had that moment today. This is my second day off, like I said, since like December.
Wow.
And I had a moment where I was kind of like, why am I sitting here? What am I doing? Get up. Like what your life is passing you by. Like, and it's like, girl, you just had a crazy closing weekend. You know what I mean? You have been flying between different time zones. It's a lot going on. It's okay. You got a cough that you're still trying to shake. It's okay to just chill out and let your mind be at rest for a second, let your body be at rest. Because I will say, the second I gave myself more than like 4 hours to sleep, my body started to feel better. This
Wow.
past week. Yeah, it was rough. But yeah, just listening to yourself and just like following whatever the impulse is, whatever it tells you you got to do, just do it.
So it's like more self-care days is what we need on the calendar.
Yeah, yeah. And like full days where you don't actually have anything, where you don't need to answer emails, where they can wait for like a day or two. You know what I mean?
That is true. Like you need that, the healthy balance. And what goals or aspirations do you have for yourself as an actress or in your career in general in the coming years?
Oh man, I grew up watching a lot of films.
Mhm.
Like we watched a lot of TV, but we also ain't have cable in my house all the time. So
Right.
we're a big movie family. And so it's always, of course, been one of my goals. Like I want to be in movies. And I'm starting to see doors opening for that, which is fun. So I love to, of course, I would love to be working at all, because to be an actor and working at all is big blessing. But I'd love to, yeah, just get on some film sets and see what that's like. Because if I would venture to say being on a film set is different than a TV set,
Mhm.
which is something that I kind of just discovered for myself recently. And yeah, it's fun. So I'd love to do that. Then eventually, this isn't necessarily a part of acting, but still like performing arts. Eventually, it is one of my goals to open a performing arts elementary school. Now that's way down the line. I'll probably have to like take a million classes and maybe get a degree in something else. I don't know, but that's a goal of mine as well.
I love that. Now, what city are you thinking of in the near far future?
I don't even know. I really don't know.
Bring it to Philly. Come on to Philly.
Oh, you guys are based in Philly, right?
Yes, we're based in
Okay.
Philly.
I'm from Trenton. I don't know if I said that. I
Oh
know it's not
no,
Trenton and
hey
Philly are the same thing, but
there
y'all sure. I
you
grew up
go.
coming to Trenton or going to Philly all the time, like growing up. you know, going to them little 18 and up clubs and all of that, out in the streets with my friends, just living our best little teenage lives.
There was always something around here.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I need to know, what kind of advice would you like to share for any inspiring and up and coming actors, actresses, creatives, artists in general? What would you like to tell them right now?
It's hard, but it's possible. And just keep on going. As long as you are physically and mentally and emotionally able to continue, just continue, because it really is. I know it sounds cliche, but it is like opportunity meeting the right time and your preparation, like all three of those things. You can't necessarily control time. You can't necessarily control the opportunity. You can just control like yourself being ready and you having, the tools handy so that when an opportunity does present itself at the right time, you're ready to do it. Um, I would think the reason why a lot of people don't see success, even small success, is because it's easy to tap out. You know, it's you get tired. You do your audition, you don't hear anything, and it's just kind of like it's easy to get into a space of like, dang, I'm trash. Like I'm not good at this. Why am I, why am I here? But I always say, and I believe this wholeheartedly for myself, God is not mean, right? So he's not about to plant these seeds in my brain and give me these dreams since I was this little just for him to be like, LOL. No, laughing in my face. Like that's not what's gonna happen, you know?
That's right. And it's hard too, especially nowadays with the high profile influence of social media. It's like now you can easily compare yourself to other people. So I'm sure that also plays a big factor for a lot of people. It's like, well, they're already there. How come I'm not? We're doing the same thing.
Yeah, that will get you. That will get you. But just gotta know that what's for you is for you. Your journey is your journey. The things are going to come to you that are going to come to you. Like Aisha wouldn't have gone to anybody else. I knew from the second that I got that script. I said, oh, this is me. I just knew it. You know what I mean? So it's nice when you have those kinds of feelings, but every audition isn't like that, obviously, you know?
Hey, what's meant for you is meant for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Stay the
I need
course,
to
man.
know, what is next for Liv Simone? What can our listeners, our viewers expect to see from you in the future? Obviously, whatever it is that you can disclose, because I'm sure there's a lot of things you have to keep under wraps.
Yeah, well, we've got some season 4 coming up, which is nice. And then I have 2 film projects that I'm really looking forward to that we'll
Yeah.
have to be patient about that. But yeah, some very exciting life life dreams kind of stuff.
Ooh, okay. I know that's right. Well, obviously, for everybody who wants to stay up to date to know about the future projects that you do have going on that you can't share just yet, how can they find you to stay up to date with everything that is going on in your world?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Liv LivSymone, Liv Simone.
Hey, make sure you guys follow Liv Simone. Stay up to date on everything that she has going on. Show that support and love. And also watch all the seasons. Don't be like her and wait until like 10,000 years to watch the
Don't do
season.
that.
Watch it right now, y'all. Just in so you can binge watch it right now. But
Yeah.
before you guys go, make sure you also follow us. We are on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at _ all of the above one. That is how you stay up to date with everything that is going on with our show. And make sure you also hit that subscribe button on our YouTube at All of the Above Podcast. That is where you will see this amazing interview with the beautiful and talented Liv Simone, as well as a host of other celebrity interviews that we have going on right now. And also, if you guys want to follow our Philly Support Philly campaign, just get any additional information about All the Above and all of our interviews, make sure you visit our website at www.alloftheabove-podcast.com. That is where you literally will find all of our links, our streaming platforms, our interviews. There is no excuse not to miss anything. Liv Simone, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you the absolute best in all of your future endeavors and seeing you on the big screen, on the film soon. And obviously we will be following you to see what those projects are.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Angel. This was great. I had a good time.
Yes, as always, I'm your girl, Angel Marie, and we will see you guys next time.
Wednesdays at 7, Angel Marie and Kevin playing the illest records, bringing us back together. Philly is all season, storming through any weather, leaving the track bleeding, where we pull it together. We applying my pressure, I am your new professor, teaching this whole semester, pay attention to lessons. I like a chili pepper.